Bacchus, show me a sign. 100-point scores are raining down from the critics. The fine wine market is down. Time to move to crypto? All that and more on This Week Uncorked. Hello and welcome to episode 11 of This Week Uncorked for September 30th, 2024. From Cork and Journey, I am Brett Martin. That's your number one source for Corkage fees. And we've got a lot of news to cover. We're going to talk about a lot of things you may have missed this last month in news. So with that, let's get right on into it. So in a really cool story, Decanter has an article about signs in Burgundy. So like little appellation signs, the little vineyard signs, they're changing them all out. So they're going to take all the old ones down and they're going to put new ones up. And maybe you'd like to own one. So they're going to auction them off. These signs are 20 years old. They look pretty good though. They must have been well made. I was checking them out. If you go to the site and you click on the link, you can get down there. But on our newsletter, or if you just go to Cork and Journey and look at this episode of This Week Uncorked, episode 11, you're going to find the link directly to the auction. This auction is going to be in November. They're estimating these signs are going to go from $100 to $500. I'm thinking that some of them are going to go for more. I think the really big names, really big vineyards. I think people might want to have these signs as decoration in their houses, but I'm going to bid. I think they're cool. There's a link in there that takes you to the auction board. So you can kind of go look. You can look at all the signs. You can place a bid. You can do all those kind of things. Really cool stuff. So I would check it out. I mean, hopefully I'll have one and it'll be back behind me here by the beginning of next year. Because if I buy it in France in November, I think it's going to take a while to get here. Anyway, we're checking out. And so head on over to Decanter. Great article. And then there's a link there and a link in our newsletter as well as on the blog post on corkandjourney.com. So check that out. Hey, you know what you don't hear about these days anymore? You don't hear about 100-point scores for wines. It's just so rare. Oh, wait, it's not. Napa Valley 2021 vintages, these Cabernets have just been getting 100-point score after 100. It's every week we're talking about these 100-point scores that the critics are just handing down left and right. Well, here's one that's slightly different because it is a 100-point score for the Ledge Syrah Block 11 Bien Nacido Vineyard. Jeb Dunnick gave it 100 points, but it's a Syrah. There you go. And it's not in Napa. It's over on the coast. So you've got that going for it as well. Congratulations to Ledge. Love a good Syrah. Gonna have to check that out as well. But yet another 100-point score from 2021. I mean, it truly was a great year for the farmers and easy growing grapes. So in 2023 is supposed to be better. We talk about this. But yet another 100-point score. So check that out. If you don't know, we're big fans of Rex Pickett. He's a friend of the show, and he wrote a little book called Sideways, and Sideways got made into a little movie, the 20th anniversary of which is coming up. And then you might want to go to Cork and Journey because Rex has written a wonderful blog about the 20th anniversary of it. Part 1, more coming up. Actually, seeing Rex this week, we're doing a whole little kind of a cool thing. You're going to want to hang out to the YouTube channel there. We're going to have some fun. We're going to do a blind tasting of Merlot.
No, if anybody orders Merlot, I'm leaving. I am not drinking any Merlot.
That should be fun. Anyway, if you're a fan of the movie and you haven't read the book, actually there's books, please head over to rexpickettbooks.com. Use the code Cork10 to receive 10% off site-wide. At least get the first book. You're going to love it so much. Rex will autograph it for you. He'll write whatever you want in there. Then you're going to say, wow, this is so good. You're going to want to get the rest. So do that. Head on over there. rexpickettbooks.com. Get that. And with that, let's move right on into the news. And Rex, I look forward to seeing you here real shortly. So the North Bay Business Journal says, what do wine lovers want? A new study reveals tourism trends. This is an odd article. I thought it was going to be, hey, what do wine lovers want? But it actually was kind of like a whole diversity in wine kind of article. So it turns out they polled 9,100 wine consumers who are mainly wine club members across the United States. So 83% of those were white Caucasian, and only 24% of the white Caucasians planned on visiting wineries this year. And though still underrepresented among American wine club members, 58% of blacks, 39% Hispanic, and 38% of Asian Americans said they're going to visit wineries this year. Basically what they're saying is that only 17% of wine club members are ethnically diverse, I guess, would be what they're looking for. But those people really plan on attending wineries and going and doing tastings, and other people don't. I don't know. It's crazy. We keep breaking everything down in our society. But I guess it's interesting. They're basically saying what wineries should do is have diverse things. It's wine. It's wine. Come on. Basically, make good wine. People will come. It should be open to everybody. Anyway, that's, I guess, what you get from the North Bay Business Journal. But an interesting article on the breakdown of wine club members and what they're planning on doing. There was some interesting tidbits in there, so you can check that out as well. And wrapping it up, the fine wine market continues down. So from the drinks business, they point over to Liv-ex, Liv-ex, which is just a really interesting site. So this is where if you're into fine wine and you want to purchase fine wine, this is where you will go to do it. So you're looking for that Petrus, you can go over here and get it. Some Burgundy, some Bordeaux, that's where you might go. These are your very, very expensive bottles of wine. They actually have a series of indices that track the prices of these fine wines. Well, there are companies where instead of investing in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, you can invest in wine. It sits in a controlled temperature. It's perfectly taken care of. They're buying bottles for you, or you're buying into a portfolio. Those wines rise in value over time or decrease. For many, many, many years, it was a constant increase in the price of fine wines. That has changed. So we're seeing a significant drop in the value of fine wines. So if you check out that article and take a look at these indices, they're really, really fascinating. We're taking a look at. And I think, again, that might just be a sign of the economy. Last week, we were talking about a decline in visits to tasting rooms. That ties in with what we did say. Maybe it has nothing to do with, maybe it's just the fact they're so expensive. Increase in prices. Maybe it's just the economy. Maybe this is a leading economic indicator that nobody ever talks about. Head over to liv-ex.com and you can check that out. There's a direct link to the indices directly in our show notes and on Corkage Journey on the blog. And with that, let's talk about our wine and winery of the week. All right, let's go up to the Willamette Valley. So, if you see it spelled, a lot of people call it Willamette, but they have T-shirts up there that say it's Willamette. Damn it. That's one good way to remember it. So it's up in Oregon, Willamette Valley in Oregon. This is where McMinnville is. This is where the International Pinot Noir celebration is held every single year. 3rd Street is just a really, really cool area. There's probably 15, 20 tasting rooms on 3rd Street. It's a fun few days if you want to go down there and check it out. So the Martin Woods Winery, they actually have a winery with real tasting, but they also have a tasting room on 3rd Street, and it's called the Hi-Fi Wine Bar. And it is just an absolute treat. They're spinning some vinyl. I walked in and Miles Davis Kind of Blue was playing, and we knew we had found our home. Some really, really exceptional wines. He pours not only his own, he pours other people's wines as well there. Really worth it. So Evan Wood is the winemaker over at Martin Wood Winery, and I would highly, highly, highly suggest you check it out. And I have a bottle of their rosé that we picked up when we were out there. Really, really good stuff. I drank through all the rest. I was saying, what about all these others? Well, we drank them all, so that lets you know. Because when we go to a winery and we like it, we usually pick up a case. And normally when I'm doing these shows and I'm talking about places we visited, I'm able to go to the cellar and pull a bottle or two out. But I'm just down to the rosé. So, I guess that's it. Anyway, so if you're in Willamette Valley, I highly recommend you check that out. And another great wine from there, the Adelsheim Chardonnay. This is also from the Willamette Valley. That's going to be our wine of the week. There's a link to it in the show notes. You can kind of check it out over at Corkage Journey as well. We've got a full review of it over there. We gave this 93 points. This is not oaky. This is just lime, apricot, bright lemon juice, juicy peach. Just a beautiful, beautiful Chardonnay. So hard to find. U.S. Chardonnays have just gone so much oak. When you find one that, kind of more that Chablis style, this was really, really a joy. So wine of the week there, the Adelsheim Chardonnay 2020 is the one we tasted. If you haven't been up to Willamette Valley, check it out. You will love it. And also, while we're talking about Oregon, when I was going through the cellar and I was checking things out, on your way up, so if you're driving up there, however you're getting there, but right on the border is the Rogue Valley. And if you are just kind of, as you're leaving California, you're going on up there, you get to Rogue Valley, I would suggest you stop in there, check it out. You got Belle Fiore is doing some amazing, amazing things up there. We'll put a link to them inside the show notes as well. This is a Montepuncello, fantastic. Great Pinot Noir. Irvine Roberts has another beautiful tasting room, and I suggest you check them out as well. We'll do a little thing on the whole Rogue Valley here soon, but since we're talking about Oregon, as I was digging through, pulling out the Martin Woods and going through stuff, I stumbled across those. Thought I'd give them a quick little shout out. And with that, let's head over to our restaurant and Corkage of the week. Les Petites Canailles. So, let's go to Paso Robles. In Paso Robles, there is Jess Lander from the San Francisco Chronicles has dubbed a group of winemakers and restaurant owners up there the French Mafia. It's a family of French people. They're not a mafia. Basically, they came over and have just been making a massive, massive, massive impact in Paso Robles. They call it LPC is what they, the kind of the code language they use for it when you're up there. This restaurant is absolutely amazing. You just have to go there every single time you are in Paso. You will not be disappointed. It is so worth your time. They only have a $30 corkage fee, by the way, which is absolutely crazy, but their food and wine pairings are spot on. The service is spot on. They are friendly. They are lovely. And it is just well worth the trip. And so, also part of that French Mafia is Clos Celine, another absolutely amazing winery up there. There are a couple others. I could put a link in here that takes you to Baume, I think is the name of the winery, which is another part of the family that has their own other winery up there. And it kind of talks a little bit about the French Mafia, so to speak, and what they've done. But all I can tell you is people are doing an amazing job. If you can only eat at one restaurant while you are in Paso Robles, this is the one to eat at. So, and again, with a $30 corkage fee, you can't go wrong, but they really aren't even overpricing their wine, which kind of makes it nice as well. Anyway, that wraps up yet another edition of This Week Uncorked. I want to thank you so much for stopping by and visiting us. And if you are trying to find a corkage fee for a restaurant, head over to corkandjourney.com. Most likely, we will have the corkage fee for that restaurant for you there with all of the details. We would love it if you would subscribe to us on YouTube and your favorite social media application. We'll see you next week. Cheers.